Let's take a look at the life of Moses, one of the most important figures in the Old Testament. Part 1. The birth of Moses. We begin our story in Egypt. Pharaoh has made a decree that all Hebrew baby boys are to be killed. According to Exodus chapter 2, verse 1, "And there went a decree throughout all the land of Egypt in the same day that every man slay his son and every woman his daughter. So Moses' mother took a basket, put the babe inside and placed it by the river Nile. And as Pharaoh's daughter came down to bathe, she found the basket and took the babe out. She then raised Moses as her own son." Part 2. Moses kills an Egyptian. Fast forward to when Moses was an adult. One day he saw an Egyptian man beating a Hebrew slave. In Exodus chapter 2, verse 11 to 12, we read, "And by that time Joseph was sold into Egypt, and his brethren knew it not. And the same Pharaoh now reigned over Egypt, who knew not Joseph. And he said, Who hath made thee a ruler and a judge over us? So Moses killed the Egyptian and hid the body in the sand. Then when his actions were discovered, he fled to the land of Midian." Part 3. Moses at the burning bush. While Moses was tending sheep in the land of Midian, he saw a bush that was burning but not being consumed. And as he approached the bush, he heard God speaking. In Exodus chapter 3 verse 1 to 4 we read, "And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and there the bush was burning, yet was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not consumed. God called to Moses from the bush and told him to come closer. Then God said, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Moses said, I have not been eloquent, neither before nor since, for you have put speech in my mouth and have taught me." God told Moses that he was sending him back to Egypt to confront Pharaoh and lead his people, the Israelites, out of slavery and into freedom. Part 4. Return to Egypt and confrontation with Pharaoh. Moses, along with his brother Aaron, returned to Egypt and confronted Pharaoh. But Pharaoh refused to let the Israelites go. In Exodus chapter 5, Pharaoh even increased their labor. But God told Moses not to worry, because he would harden Pharaoh's heart so that Moses could perform signs and wonders before Pharaoh, proving that the Lord is God. And God did just as he said. Part 5. The 10 Plagues of Egypt. God sent a series of 10 plagues upon Egypt to convince Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. Let's quickly review them. Number 1. God turned the waters of the Nile River into blood. 2. Frogs. 3. Gnats or flies. 4. Flies. 5. Livestock died. 6. Boils. 7. Hail. 8. Locusts. 9. There was darkness over the land of Egypt for 3 days. And number 10. The death of the firstborn. But before the final plague, God gave the Israelites instructions to put lamb's blood over their door frames. This would be a sign for the angel of death to pass over their houses. That night, the angel of death passed through Egypt and killed the firstborn of the Egyptians. Pharaoh woke up and realized what had happened. He called for Moses and let the Israelites go. Part 6. The first Passover and Exodus from Egypt. That same day, the Israelites left Egypt, celebrating their freedom with a feast called the Passover. As they were leaving, God performed another miracle. Pharaoh changed his mind and pursued the Israelites with his chariots and horsemen. But God parted the Red Sea, and the Israelites crossed through on dry land. Then God closed the sea over the Egyptian army. Part 7. Manna and water in the wilderness. The people followed Moses into the wilderness. And after a while, they began to complain about not having food to eat and water to drink. God provided for them. Manna fell from heaven each morning, and water flowed from a rock when Moses struck it. Part 8. Receiving the 10 Commandments at Mount Sinai. After 40 days, the people arrived at the base of Mount Sinai. And God descended on the mountain in fire and thunder. Moses went up into the mountain and received the 10 Commandments in the form of stone tablets. These commandments were given to show the people how they should live and what they must do to please God. Part 9. The Golden Calf. While Moses was on the mountain receiving the commandments, the people became impatient and demanded that Aaron make them gods to worship. Aaron told them to bring gold from their jewelry, and they melted it down and cast an image of a calf. Then they bowed down and worshipped this golden calf. When Moses came down the mountain and saw what had happened, he broke the tablets in anger. He confronted the people about their sin and their rebellion. Part 10. Renewal of the Covenant. Moses pleaded with God on behalf of the people, reminding God that he had made them and had known their stubbornness from the beginning. God forgave them and renewed the covenant. He gave Moses new stone tablets, and the people began worshipping God again. Part 11. The tabernacle and worship established. God gave Moses detailed instructions on how to build a special tent called the tabernacle, where God's presence would dwell among the people. They built the tabernacle, its furnishings, and its utensils exactly as God had told Moses. And the priests were given their garments and their instructions for worship. All of these instructions are recorded in the book of Exodus, as well as the book of Leviticus. Part 12. Rebellion in the wilderness. Even though God performed many miracles and delivered the Israelites from slavery, they continued to rebel against him. A good example of this is recorded in Numbers chapters 11 and 14. In these chapters, the people complained bitterly about their food and their circumstances. God sent them quail to eat and told them to move on. He also told them to send spies into the land of Canaan, which was the promised land flowing with milk and honey. The spies brought back fruit from the land. But instead of encouraging the people to trust in God, they focused on the giants living in the land. The people became afraid and did not want to enter the promised land. This decision caused them to wander in the wilderness for 40 years until all of the people who complained died. Part 13. Moses strikes the rock. Again, despite the miracles God performed for the Israelites, they continued to complain. In Numbers chapter 20, verse 1 to 13, the people complained about not having water. God told Moses to speak to a rock, but in a moment of unbelief and anger, Moses struck the rock twice. Because Moses did not trust God in front of the people, God told him that he would not be allowed to bring the Israelites into the promised land. Part 14. The death of Moses. God told Moses to get ready because he would soon be taking him to his reward. Moses ascended Mount Nebo, which was in the land of Moab. From this mountain, Moses saw the promised land, but he was not allowed to enter. God buried Moses and his death place was unknown. Part 15. Moses' legacy. Deuteronomy chapter 34 verses 10 to 12 reads, "And there arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, who knew the Lord face to face in all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt, in all the plagues that he brought upon it, in all the great deliverance which he wrought among it. And in all the hard things that I made him do, a man like unto Moses, neither before his face did the Lord find such a one." The people forgot Moses' leadership and guidance, but God said that no prophet like Moses would ever arise in Israel. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about the Bible, subscribe for more videos.